stars like a million miles.
Yeah, you can't believe in any of that. We can't go there.
We went to the moon in the 1960s, and we can't go back there in 2018. And what do they say? They say, "Oh, we lost that technology."
Well, I have more technology in this phone right here than I actually saw the lunar lander in Cape Canaveral last time I flew down in Florida. I was only like 8 or 9 years old. And I remember when I saw it, I was like, well, where's the real one? Because it looked like curtain rods and tinfoil and...
There was a video that leaked. It was like, they do a lot of their shoots underwater.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, any outside thing is underwater. Yeah, inside it's all green.
My mom has a friend that her father was on that mission in the 1960s. Yeah, on his deathbed, she whispered to her granddaughter that it was all fake.
Wow.
Yeah, my mom told me that.
That'd be an awesome interview right there. But yeah,
it's all fake.
It's all fake. They don't know what's up there any more than we do. You know, like what's above the firmament.
That's what I'm saying. My only question is, okay, so I don't know what, there's different sort of like firmament images that people put out there. They think the Antarctic is a surrounding. I don't know if that's what you believe.
I don't know. Never been there, so I can't say one way or another, you know.
I mean, they make this thing called gravity, and gravity is just like, why can't things fall to the earth because they have mass? You know what I mean? Why can't things fall because they're heavier?
I'm an alchemist, so in ancient alchemy there were 4 forces, and one of them, they didn't call it gravity, they called it earth. Water is the electromagnetic field, and then you have your strong nuclear force, which is fire, and your weak nuclear force. Our air is the electromagnetic force, water is the weak. It's the same thing, there's 4 forces in our physics today, same as back then. But gravity is just, in my opinion, I've done a bunch. I bought a Van de Graaff generator, did all kinds of.
So what do you think? What do you think the Earth, the firmament's doing now? Do you think we're rising? Obviously, we're not spinning 1,000 miles per second. That's bullshit.
Yeah. No, I don't think we're moving at all. The Bible says
you think
the
we're
Earth
stationary?
is stationary. Yeah, we're set on foundation. And it's really neat because in the Bible it says that the sun, moon, and stars are within the firmament. So they're not inside the firmament with us. They're inside. The firmament is a place. And God called the firmament heaven. He gave it a name. It's crazy to think that, but there's another place above us where beings rest.
That's crazy, yeah. You know? But what gets me, the main thing that got me was, if you've ever seen this, you know the curvature of the Earth, right? They say the Earth is curved. If you ever look at a ship, they say, it goes bottom to top because the bottom goes first and the top goes second because it's going over the curve. They did a test where they took a ship and they went, it went bottom, it went top, and it disappeared. They took binoculars, like zoomed in, boom, it's still there.
Yeah, I went and bought a P610 60 by optical zoom camera just to go do tests. I lived right on Lake Michigan.
And it's funny because there's athletes, there's people who have gone to Harvard and Preston and stuff like that they went to these high-end schools and they believe in flat Earth.
Yeah.
And it's just like...
the people, I'm going to the Flat Earth Conference right now. That's why I'm heading to Denver.
Oh, really?
I had a bunch of people pay for my ticket.
Oh, wow. It's like a convention, right?
Yeah. There's people from England, there's people from all over going to be there. I can't wait.
It's hard to think that our world is spinning.
Yeah, how could they land an airplane if 75 yards a second this is moving to the right or left?
It makes absolutely no sense. Even when you look at the window, like you can see the horizon, everything's flat.
Yeah, we're going to see the horizon on both sides of us, and it'll rise up to your eye level. That's nice. Well, the thing about the boat disappearing from the bottom, I actually wrote an equation, but I've had mathematicians look at it. It all has to do with how our eyes work. And I'm actually doing a thing on it. Not this Friday because I'll be at the convention, but next Friday, Iron Realm Media. Yeah, check them out. I'm part of it. There's 5 of us. There's a pharmacist from England, a guy who's very secretive, says he's a plumber. Yeah. We don't really know what he is. Yeah. And then a guy who puts together little needles and sods them together, the different gauge size. And another guy he's disabled now. But
well, it's funny, like back then, like with what's his name, Plateau, or what's his name, the astronomer.
Oh, Plato.
Back then, everyone believed in a flat Earth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like that's what they believed in, was a flat Earth. And it's funny, like they use hidden like messages in certain shows, like Disney shows and stuff like that, where they're like the Flintstones. They're like, oh, this is a flat Earth. Like, the Earth is round. Like, and everyone's laughing at them. Like, oh, you think the Earth is round? That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, ha 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 ha.
Yeah, that's telling you right there in your face.
And there's I don't know if you watch Family Guy, but there's a Family Guy episode where someone hits a baseball and it hits the dome. And like, oh, the dome is cracked and all the water is falling into the earth and stuff
There
like
was
that.
a Simpsons episode of
Yeah,
that
that's
too.
what. Yeah.
It said the firmament has broken in and the ocean is pouring in, knocking this dream into full reality or something like that.
Even Hillary Clinton, she said things like, we've sent 1 million rockets up there, and then that dome has 1 million cracks in it. It's
So
like,
we're gonna break through one of these
Yeah.
days. Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
They have to come out and say it.
yeah.
That's why Barack Obama, in the last 2 years of his term, said we don't have time for the Flat Earth Society.
But it's funny, when rockets go up, they never go straight up.
That's my Iron Rail Media. That's the group I'm in. That's the parabolic
Never
arc is
seen
our
it go
sign. No, they never go straight up. Not the ones NASA shoots off. The private ones, like that one shot off, and it didn't go lumbering up.
Yeah.
It took off straight up like that. Oh yeah, it's growing. Where did you first hear about it? When?
I was on YouTube. I don't know. I had a friend that believed in it, and I kind of was skeptical at the time. Like, he was telling me all these things. They sounded convincing. I was like, But then I watched this guy on YouTube. His name's Delano. And
Delano TV.
Yeah, that's who I watch.
Yeah, I'm subbed to him.
Yeah, and he's just really convincing. And like, you need to not rely on like what they have taught you in school and all the textbooks and all this shit. They don't teach you religion and all this stuff.
They don't teach you how to think critically.
Yeah, but if you just just looking up at the sky and the stars, just think about what they've taught you, it just sounds stupid. It just really sounds stupid. We're on a ball of water that's spinning 100,000 miles, whatever, a minute, and we're staying stationary, and we're also revolving around a bigger.
And we can't feel that move.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though it's an elliptical orbit, it means it has to slow down and speed up.
And their case to case is gravity.
Oh yeah, that's their answer for
This
everything.
imaginal force that we can't see, but it pulls everything down. They threw out thousands of equations that make absolutely no sense to normal people.
Well, yeah, Isaac Newton's book on gravity, it starts with the word if.
Yeah.
So that tells you right there.
But it's funny
He
because
didn't
like
know.
everything you hear, Big Bang Theory, just this theory.
Theory of gravity. Yeah.
Theory of gravity.
Theory of evolution.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
But there's just so many things that point away from it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there are things that point towards a spherical Earth, little bits and pieces, but just I don't know, the facts just outweigh it. It's just hard for people to concept that you've been taught a lie your whole life. People can't grasp that. There are people who have, but there are people that
It's called cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
They would rather ignore reality to keep their belief.
They want to be secure. They want to be like, no, this is what I believed in my whole life. It has to be this. Yeah, exactly.
These people are, good. They're watching over us.
The government knows. They know. They know what's up.
Well, yeah, that's why the whole UN was started back then.
Believe it or not, we can't even go to Antarctica.
No, we're not allowed to.
We're not allowed to go there. Only if scientific research you're allowed to go there.
And you have to get all kinds of passes and permits, and even the scientists that go there have to stay on certain paths.
And I researched this. Is you can take a flight to Antarctica, but you can only go to certain parts of it, like the tourist part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they won't let you go any further. And all the airlines are owned by one person. There's no, American Airlines. It's owned by one airline.
Yeah, and now they took all the windows off.
All the windows off. Yep, I see that too. Yep.
You've done your research.
Yeah, big time.
That's awesome, man.
What I believe is we're in a dome. It's a flat Earth. I believe the Earth is surrounded by Antarctica. I believe that there's huge ice walls that
The sun doesn't go out
are
so
guarded
far.
that are guarded by the government, so that any intruder are gonna get killed. So it's just so much stuff we haven't seen about the world, and so much that's been hidden from us. And it's just, like I said earlier, it's hard to grasp that holy shit. Like middle school, elementary school, high school, college, we've been lied to.
It took me 4 years, and I was already looking for truth, and I was already an alchemist. And the whole idea of have you ever heard of the Fibonacci curve?
I've heard the name. No, I've heard of it, but I don't know what
Look
it is.
into the Fibonacci curve. It's in every part. It's the curve of seashells. It's the curve of flower petals. It's the building block of everything. It's how the creator made all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But they don't teach it in school at all. It's 1 + 1 = 2, and then you take the last two numbers and add them. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, and it just keeps going.
They
Plot it out. It makes this beautiful spiral.
And there's so much of history that they didn't teach us. They only taught us like bits and pieces of the war, this,
Even
that, and this.
if any of it's real.
Yeah, exactly.
You can go back 3 generations, and before that, who knows? You know, how many people get to actually sit down and talk with their great-grandparents?
And it's funny, I sat down with I call them globe earthers, the one that's what they believe in. I mean, and I told him, I asked him, he had no answer for me. I'm like, how come I can take a magnifying glass and I can put water in front of the magnifying glass and a rainbow will appear? You know what I mean? So I asked him, how does the effect of a rainbow appear in Earth? He couldn't answer me. He said, why is that every single time that we see a rainbow, it's always, the dome shape?
The dome shape, yeah. No answer.
Yeah. How can you create that color spectrum effect? And he's like, there's an equation for that. It's like,
I hear there's physics teachers now that they start their class saying, if you believe in flat Earth, this is not the class for you. You need to leave. Because people are heckling these teachers so bad.
Well, exactly, because you just need to, if you put all your faith into so-called scientists and NASA and stuff like that,
without doing the research yourself.
Just look, just use your eyes. You're so blinded by
these amazing senses.
You're so blinded by textbooks and bullshit theories. Just use your eyes. It's honestly really, really simple.
It is. It's so simple. And a little bit of math.
Yeah.
Like I live right on Lake Michigan, and I stayed at the Michigan City Marina 100 times. My uncle had a boat there.
Yeah.
And you could see the skyline of Chicago all the time. Well, the thing that did it to me was seeing this newscaster saying that's a mirage, that it only happens once in a great while.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. That's the video that did it for me.
Yeah. It's just hard. And these, still there's a theory word at the end of it, but in textbook it says Big Bang Theory. But like, you think I'm crazy, you expect me to believe something was created from nothing, just this random bang happened, and then a whole solar system, universe, whole intricate, body of water that's livable on with oxygen and all this stuff, is spinning 100,000 miles a minute around something that's a million times bigger than it, and not burning up, not, at a perfect, it just makes no sense. It's so stupid. And like all that.
I bought it for 30
and even evolution, it's like,
there's no proof for it.
Oh, we came from apes. Okay.
They're still looking for the missing link. Well, the Bible, the books that have been removed, the canonized books, talk about 6 races of upright walking beings.
There used to be giants.
Oh yeah.
I heard
the Nephilim or the Anunnaki.
I heard there used to be giants. That's what my dad told me. There used to be giants. Like the pyramids. How are the pyramids made?
Yeah, we can't build them today.
The pyramids are so intricate, you can't even stick a piece of paper in between it. And you're telling me we had the technology back then to lay 1,000-pound stones at a perfect, like parallel angle and in perfect intricacy, and build a tomb inside of it? Come on.
I don't think they were tombs at all. I think they were power generators.
That's another thing my dad said. He said that we had technology back then. We had technology back then.
Oh yeah.
While you're seated, just keep your seatbelt
We have technology now that would make energy free for everybody.
There was some sort of greater human or demigod, or like they show, like the pharaohs and stuff like that. There's some sort of something that
there are
was
3
able
laboratories
to
on this aircraft, 1 forward and 2 in the rear.
get the job
Two in the rear.
they're saying they carry 1,000-pound stack stones for hundreds of miles past quarries.
For
Like,
your safety as well as
come on.
The island of Mu.
Come on.
Yeah.
That you refrain from congregating in the aisles, galleries, and laboratories during the
He'll make
flight.
any sort of
Only
bullshit
one person may be allowed
statement
in the
to
forward
cover
laboratory
up
area at
what's
any
real.
time.
And if they have
If you
numbers
are
behind their name,
alcohol
letters
or
behind their
we're gonna
name,
ask that you keep that stowed at all times.
There's
Yeah.
hieroglyphics of artwork of computers back then.
yeah, oh yeah. Well, the one spaceship
Oh,
I forget, it's down there in South America. They said there was a guy that came from a ship in the sky, and they even have his ship with levers and all kinds of stuff on a hieroglyph, a big giant stone.
It's just wild.
There's a great selection of beer, wine, along with a
And
variety
they want to
of
say, oh, they're aliens from, you know,
trillions
trillions of miles. No, they're in another
I don't.
pond.
And they're saying, oh, the world is, what do they say, billions of years old?
Yeah,
That's-
4
that's
billion
nuts.
years old.
Yeah, the world's
How do they
billions of
know
years
anything
old.
like that? Yeah.
The way the Bible says, was to say the world's what, like 6,000
About
years
6,000 years old, our history so far.
6 billion? I mean, yeah, we went through eras. I mean, I believe men walked with dinosaurs.
yeah.
I believe that. Because
I
in the
think
Bible,
they were the chimera, the animal breeds that were mixed to make giants.
in the Bible it says a creature with a tail as tall as a cedar tree, and the cedar tree is 100 feet tall.
Yeah.
So I believe there were dinosaurs. I believe men walked with dinosaurs. It's crazy to think about.
Well, yeah, they say the whole, you know, everybody says, oh, if God was so great, why would he bring a flood and kill everybody?
Because he killed all the sinners.
Well, he killed all the Nephilim. They say there were so many giants back then, they were using us like cattle.
Sodom.
Yeah, they were just eating us like nothing. So God brought the flood to wipe all of them out.
You read all throughout the Bible, you'll see that God praised and gave worship and gave everything to the people who followed them. But as soon as you strayed away from it, you know, you were a sinner. You got punished.
It's hard, especially nowadays, to just listen to that little voice in your head. I'm living like a nomad now. I have my tent,
Like
stuff
road,
like that.
going road.
Yeah, pretty much. And what I'm doing is I have about 1,600 followers on YouTube.
Okay.
And I crochet hats. And I'm crocheting wool hats for homeless people. Yeah, I made this hat.
Oh, really? That's cool.
But I'm giving them out to homeless people. Every $10 donation somebody gives me on a PayPal or something like that. So I actually got to give out 3 hats yesterday. To somebody, yeah. It was the first day I did it was yesterday, but I heard, you know, like a calling. Because I was making them and just trying to sell them.
There has to be. I mean, even people who don't believe you, there has to be a greater being. There's our from the world to our bodies. Like, it's just so intricate. The ecosystem, like everything, breathing,
Everything works in unison. It's perfect.
It's so perfect. Like, there has to be a greater being. It can't come from nothing. It's not possible. And if you believe that, then you're just a globe. You know, you're a globe believer. You know.
You're believing in something that a man told you.
Yeah, exactly. You're putting all your trust. You're putting all in trust in people who say we landed on the moon.
Yeah. You know, China said they landed on the moon over 2,300 years ago.
Their whole thing is, oh, there's too much radiation. We can't go through the Orion belt. You know, that's foolish. 50 years ago we could do it, but in 2018, where people have hovercraft, we have hovercrafts, and people are paying for stuff on their phone without any money or debit cards. We can't, you know, we lost that technology. Come on, we got jetpacks now. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's such nonsense.
I believe that we have technology that the government, I feel like the government waits to release certain technology. I believe we have a lot more intricate, more like a higher advanced technology that they're just
they don't
waiting.
want us to have it.
Exactly.
They say these would have been around, cell phones, since the 70s.
Probably have.
And the elite. Think of it, have you seen the Harry Potter movies?
Yeah.
Think of it just like Harry Potter. They are the magic people, and we are the muggles.
Well, I don't know.
They're
what
not allowed to show us their magic.
Exactly.
That's rule number 1.
Well,
their big rule.
I believe. I don't know if you believe this, but I believe there is such thing as a shapeshifter. I believe that
Could be. I've seen some crazy
I
stuff.
believe some hierarchy in Bohemian Groves. I don't know about the Skull and Crossbones.
Yeah.
I believe there are people who are shapeshifters. I believe there are people that are, have that ability. My dad was teaching me all the higher powers, like the Queen of England, like all the higher up powers have that sort of that third eye ability. So
Yeah, they haven't been calcifying their pineal gland for their whole lives, drinking fluoride.
When you sell your soul to the devil, it's done. You get all the power, all the money, all the wealth in the world. Once you're dead,
That's it. Yeah.
you're done.
Yeah.
You're going to hell.
You're stuck.
It's funny. There's a story of some guy who was an atheist. He didn't even believe in God. He ended up dying in a tragic accident. Well, he didn't actually die. He died. His heart stopped. And he went to hell and he experienced it. He saw the devil like face to face, and he saw the molten lava, the torture, He said he saw celebrities like Michael Jackson and all these people getting stoned by these devils and demons and stuff like that. And all throughout this experience, I guess it wasn't his time to die yet. So all throughout this thing, God reached his hands and basically pulled him out of hell and put him back in his body. And since then, he's not an atheist. He believes in God. It's a crazy story. I followed it, but it's just got to be more. There just has to be more. There's no way that this is it.
I agree.
You die.
Absolutely.
You die and that's it.
Yeah, electricity cannot be destroyed or created. It transforms from one thing to another. And they say we make enough electricity in our bodies to run cities. Each person. The electromagnetic field that we put off of our bodies is...
But going back to the globe Earth thing, but it's just you don't want to. I mean, obviously you don't want to shove something down someone's throat, but you want to enlighten people. You want to get a bigger following with this because it's just so many undoubtable. Just you can't deny it. When you get people showing people this like evidence, like there's a lot of naysayers, but like
That's why I got that camera.
when you just sit down people and say, hey, this is it. Like I'm showing you proof that what you've been believing is a lie. It's hard for someone to just, I believe you. It's hard.
That's Photoshop. This
exactly.
or that. Or,
10,
I've heard
15,
it
20,
100
30
times.
years. Like it's hard for someone to say, holy shit, like have that enlightened moment. Like, holy shit, my whole life I've been taught, bullshit.
It takes a certain kind of person to be able to
It took me
take
about
that leap.
It took me about a year to kind of flip the side. Like, holy shit, like
It
this
was
is.
4 months for me to just look at my first video.
And I paid for college, and I listened to the whole, run around on, yep, this is the globe, this is our planet, this is how it happened. It actually kind of ticked me off, I
It
spent all
made
this
me
money
real
on
mad.
shit.
I was a NASA fanboy
Yeah.
for years.
I loved space. I loved the whole.
I was checking satellite feeds every day and observatory pictures, and I was really into everything that was going on up there.
Yeah, I went to Kennedy Space Center. I mean, it was great. I loved the whole.
They
Like
sell
there
it well.
can be more. Yeah,
Yeah.
there can be more. It's infinite.
Yeah, we're going to be out there one day, and we're going to explore, and we just need more of your tax money.
Exactly. So something didn't click. I mean, they get hundreds of millions and billions of dollars a year in tax money. And what are they?
$53 million a day. 19 point something billion a year. That's crazy. You know how many people we could feed?
Exactly, and it's so funny. There's a picture online. There's 8 photos of the Earth from 1970 to now, and they all look different. They all are different colors, different shape, different angle, but they're all shot from the same place.
It's nonsense.
It just makes sense. There's so much Photoshop that goes into all that nebula, black hole, all that bullshit.
Oh yeah, yeah. The whole Hubble Space Telescope is a joke. That thing's on the back of an AC-130. It's called Sophia. We've had it forever.
The AC-1, that's a fighter jet, right?
It's one of those big giant jets that they can hold. Well, it's not a jet. I think it has 4 propellers, but it's a huge plane. They can carry tanks in them. They're just enormous. But yeah, there's one called Sophia, and the whole back end of it is a giant telescope that they say sees further than the Hubble telescope now.
And like I said, it's not even the Earth. I've done so many. There's a place, not like Area 51, but there's a place where they, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a biohazard place where they keep like creatures that are like not of this Earth. It's called It's like quarantine something. It's like creatures that have like certain type of powers and certain type of mutations that are not safe. They're not safe for the world, so they quarantine them. Oh my gosh!
That's what I want to see. I want to see a dragon.
I'm sure there's creatures like that out there. I'm sure. Everything from
this
the
is a huge place.
I'm saying, I mean, even the ocean. We've explored 3% of the whole ocean. Like,
Yeah.
There could be a Loch Ness monster. Like,
there could be
there could still be
much stuff.
megalodons. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, everything's extinct. That's Photoshop. Bigfoot could be real. I don't
Yeah.
doubt it.
I think Bigfoot is just man that has gone feral,
Yeah.
become undomesticated completely.
Sure.
You know, if you were born and all of a sudden, you know, you didn't, or if you were young, somehow survived without being taught how to speak.
Yeah, it's a feral.
You know,
Yeah.
you're wild. I bet your strength would be
Oh yeah, big time.
immense.
I don't know if they've made any tests or anything, but raising someone on the Earth, I wonder how that would go. You know what I mean? Like berries and like feeding off the Earth that we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
If you're not drinking, GMO milk and processed
Yeah.
foods and stuff. I wonder how a person would look like from adolescence to adulthood. Feeding on like fish from the ocean and herbs, berries, tree
Even
sap.
the Amish don't do that kind of stuff. I mean, they still use sugar and things like that.
Yeah.
They're not 100% all natural,
I've always wondered what a person would look like just, killing your
never cutting your hair.
killing what you eat. You know what I mean? I guess back to the caveman days. It's insane. You never know. There's probably foods that depress your weight. There's probably foods that make you gain weight like crazy. There's probably foods that give you cancer. You never know.
Absolutely.
But you know what happens? They put this shit in foods. You get cancer, and guess where all the money goes back to?
Yeah. That's why I don't give any charities like that. I go and I'll help people that need help
Yeah.
and give it to them myself.
Yeah.
Because they say 85% of the stuff that they give out on charities is given to the people working the charities, when it should be the other way around.
Even diagnose stuff like doctor. You can't sit still for 5 seconds. Oh, you have ADHD. Here's
pill.
pills. Here's
Yeah.
pills. That's what they did to me. Oh, your son can't focus in school. Oh, he needs these pills. Thousands of dollars out of
See,
insurance.
when I was going through there, they didn't have all that stuff. I was very lucky because I didn't pay attention. And it wasn't because I couldn't, it was because I knew half the crap already. It was boring. When I found teachers that were actually good teachers, I was like their teacher pet. But when it was a teacher that was just had tenure and didn't care, and just going through the textbook and that was it was like, okay, I read the textbook. I don't need your help anymore.
It's just all this stuff really. I haven't had a drink of soda in 5 years. And
Awesome,
I'm
man.
21. I've not having a soda since I was 16. It's insane. I seen what soda did. People clean toilets with Coke.
Oh yeah.
That acid, you put that stuff in your body. Like, I would never drink a Red Bull or a Monster. Like, if you can't pronounce what's in your food,
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
should
gonna
be consuming
all that
Absolutely. I agree with you.
hydroglyphoside,
Yeah, hexahydrolytra, cycline, or
and it'll she'll have a little quote saying to preserve the whatever.
yeah, they put mercury in
It's just deadly.
immunization
It'll
shots
kill you.
to preserve things.
And even like flu shots, like
mom-
flu season's coming up, gotta get your flu shot.
back home in Indiana, it was every Walgreens, CVS.
I haven't had a
get a free one, and it was like on every aisle.
I haven't had a
every
flu.
10 feet.
I haven't had a flu shot in 11 years, and I've never had the flu, and I've never been sick. I've been fine. Ever since I strayed away from all that soda and all that
Yeah,
bullshit.
being healthy is the way. That's how
I'm
you
not
stay
never sick.
healthy.
Literally never sick.
There's a guy called THC Anthony.
I heard him. I seen him.
Me and him correspond back and forth on Skype.
Yeah.
But I love his motto. Food is your medicine, medicine is your food.
Yeah.
You know, he grows fields of hemp, and he says I can clothe, feed, and fuel 5,000 people with this one field. Just a 5-acre field. That's why it was illegal for so long.
You know, it sucks because I had surgery on my shoulder. So you know what they did when I had my after surgery?
Oh yeah, here's a bunch of pain pills.
Here's Oxycodone. He's oxycodone. I couldn't go to the bathroom for like 5 days.
Yeah.
That's what it did to me. I felt sick. These pills are giving me. I felt.
Ladies, next beverages for Rich's water.
Thank
I'm
you.
fine. But I felt like if they would have, if weed was medically legal in Florida, I felt like consuming cannabis and smoking cannabis would have been a lot better for me than
Any of
these
those
pills.
Oh yeah.
Don't get me wrong; these pills made me, it suppressed the pain, but it wasn't for long. Like humiliated. So I really don't bring it up. But if someone does argue with me, I'll show them the facts. I'll show them, this is what it is. Like this is.
Yeah,
Like I'm
disprove
showing,
this.
I'm giving you a plate of facts, and you're just basically saying, these scientists are wrong. Like, yes, they're wrong. I understand that. The government.
Hard to believe.
Yeah, of course. It was hard for me to believe. Like, wow, all these amazing people, all these so-called smart scientists and NASA and people have told us our whole lives, and I'm just supposed to believe some theory that the Earth is flat and this isn't what it is. It was hard, but like I said, you do your own research. That's what all flat earthers tell you. You do your own research. You use your own
Don't
eyes.
believe
Yeah. Just don't believe everything that there's told you. If the government says that the Earth is pear-shaped, are you gonna believe it's pear-shaped? No.
Yeah, that's what they're saying now too.
Yeah, it's oblate. It's
Yeah.
pear-shaped. What's his name?
Oblate.
Degrassi.
Yeah. Oh, I can't stand
They're
it.
fucking idiots. Him and Bill Nye, they're fucking idiots.
I'd love to just forearm shiver Bill Nye.
It's funny because they don't bring up any good facts. All they do is they just laugh.
Yeah.
Like, how
Well,
you
why
really-
can't I see Spain from New Jersey? It's like, really, Bill? Come on.
You don't realize that.
And he was. I think he has a BA in architectural engineering or something like that. Bill Nye. He has no science degree at all.
He's not into real science.
No, not at all.
He's not into real
And
science.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, neither is he. He's an astrophysicist.
Astrophysicist, yeah.
Yeah, that's not a physicist. And they're dropping astro off all these guys now. They're just calling them physicists.
He's saying the Earth is pear-shaped. It's oblate. You've been spinning for so long that it's pear-shaped.
Yeah, and the southern, it got a little chubbier somehow. Where it should be right at the equator, you would think.
People don't want to believe anything different. It's just people want to have security that, this is what I've been taught my whole life. This is what I have to believe. But when you get into things like, obviously, like the Illuminati, the Bible, Freemasons, 31st degree, stuff like that, there's hierarchy people that have so much knowledge about the world that if it ever leaked or ever came, it would create chaos. It would create, it would be a new
32nd degree Freemason.
3 second now.
Albert Pike.
Pike. Yep.
He
I know
wrote
him.
Morals and Dogma.
I know him.
And they used to give that out to every, I think, 14th or 16th degree Freemason up until 1974. Then they quit.
It's funny because, believe it or not, I had an invitation to a Masonic thing to get into that whole deal. I know what it's all about. They say, oh yeah, we're praising God, they help each other out, but in
Until
reality,
the 33rd degree.
exactly.
Yeah.
In all reality, they're worshiping Lucifer.
Yeah. No, they tried to initiate me into DeMolay, which is
what?
Freemasonry for children. It's called DeMolay. At 11 years old, they tried to get me. And this is the first time God screamed at me, or that little voice in my head. I went down there, I memorized my little paragraph they gave me. They blindfolded me. I went down the stairs, candles all around, and that little voice said, "Stop right now. You don't want to do this. Tell them you don't want to do it right now. You haven't made your oath yet. There's still time." And I did. I took off the bottle. I was like, I need to go. I don't want to do this now. And the weird part was they weren't like, "Oh, come on, it's okay." They're like, "Oh, okay," and they let me go.
Yeah, this is crazy. I was a delivery driver, and I actually delivered to one of these Masonic temples, and they usually meet up every third Thursday of the month, or every second, whatever, Tuesday or Thursday of the month. And it was a front door. I mean, it was normal. I walked in. When I walked in, there was no second door. It was just wall. And what happened was there was a speaker, and they said, "Hey, just leave the pizza there." Like, just, there was nothing. There was a small shelf, like cabinet type of thing. Like, okay, leave it there. Then the money was on the counter. All right, whatever. And right as I walked out the door, I kind of paused. I guess they kind of thought the door closed. I'm not sure, but the wall, I'm not even shitting, the wall literally rotated, as in like a secret like dungeon type of thing.
Yeah.
And I looked back, and all I saw was a guy in a black robe, and I hauled ass out of there. Like, I was so frightened. I hauled ass out of there.
Well, yeah, you've seen all that Bohemian Grove nonsense.
Yeah, they sacrifice goats and blood and
Well,
all
they
that.
have the one. They say it's fake, but they sacrifice a human being.
I've seen it.
Yeah, they say it's a cremation of care.
Like,
No women allowed.
all that Baphomet.
Yeah, the giant owl Malok that they go and
And it's funny, you see people who are in the industry, such as like famous rappers and stuff like that, they have tattoos of the owl all
Yeah.
over them.
or the pyramid
Yeah.
with the all-seeing eye on the
All-seeing eye.
inside.
Yep.
Yeah, they all have family members or their firstborn will die in some tragic accident before they hit 18 years old.
And that's the funny thing. Drake, I don't know if you know who Drake is.
Yeah.
He's a rapper. He's got the all-seeing eye on him, on his chest. He's got the owl on his forearm. And before he was famous, his brother died. Just some random tragic accident. There's a basketball player who has the all-seeing eye all tied up on his forearm. His brother died in a car accident. In the video, you see him running from something, and when you see him running past like the road, you see a car coming out of nowhere, bam, and hit him.
Wow.
3 a.m., no cars.
Yeah,
Out
planned.
of nowhere, boom, just hit him. Clean
Oh,
hit
yeah.
him. But then now that basketball player went from nothing to now he's a superstar making $200 million. It's
You have to
insane.
sell.
It's insane. You have to give up something.
Yeah,
Right?
a sacrifice.
Yeah, sacrifice.
And your soul.
You have to sacrifice something.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's insane.
Look at it. I forget who's had 3 wives that have died. One of the big names, either Tom Cruise or Jim Carrey or something
Yeah.
like that, has had, or 2 of his wives died.
And you never know the real truth. Like Robin Williams, he hung himself.
How do we know that? Yeah.
Well, come on. What's his name?
Well, Chris Cornell's family is now suing the doctors.
Oh yeah, Prince. Oh, he was found on the floor,
Yeah,
unresponsive.
his medication was.
Shit,
They
it's
gave
always-
him the wrong
It's
this or
always
that.
overdose. It's always medication. It's
Jimi
always,
Hendrix,
Yeah.
you know.
Elvis. Oh,
Yeah.
He choked on his.
Well, Jim Morrison, his dad was an admiral in the Navy who started the Gulf of Tonkin War over in Vietnam. That's crazy.
There's always. You have a due date when the Reaper comes to get you. There's always a due date. You sign that contract with blood, your blood, and that's set in stone. Your soul's gone.
See, I
There's
think
always
that's
a due
why
date.
Bob Dylan's never had kids.
There was
He's never been married.
Well, there was a movie about that. I don't know what it was called.
Crossroads.
That's what it's called.
That's the one about the musician, the blues player that sold his soul.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to give it up, and when it's your due date, there's no extension. There's
Exactly.
no.
They're coming to get it. Yeah.
Like there was 2 famous hip hop artists that died this year, and it's funny because a month earlier, one of the hip hop artists went live on YouTube and said, blah blah blah. If I die a tragic death soon, then I hope my music, goes to the world. A month later, boom, he gets shot and killed in his car, coming out of a dealership. It's insane.
And I think some of them, they kind of fake their death.
I've seen that like Tupac, Machiavelli. They go to whatever Cuba or something. I've seen that.
Well, Joan Rivers.
Michael Jackson. There's a video of Michael Jackson. Like people have seen Michael Jackson, like in different places of the world. Like he looks just like him, but it's like, no, not Michael Jackson. No, just a look-alike. But it's like, wow, like you really look like him.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard.
No, to fake your death, hell no. And Prince's sister, when he died, she didn't shed a tear. She's like, oh, I knew this was gonna happen. I knew he was gonna die.
He was big into talking about chemtrails and stuff like that.
Same thing with not even musicians, even Kennedy. He wanted to go back to the old system of gold for gold and going back to silver and stuff like that. They assassinated him.
Yeah, that's the whole Saddam Hussein thing. Well, it had nothing to do with oil. It had to do with he wanted to make gold the standard.
Yeah.
And they weren't having it. Same thing with Gaddafi in Libya. They let him build up northern Africa to where, it was one of their laws that everybody in the country had a right to a home, electricity, and clean water. That was a human right.
It's all about money. Because if they transition back to the trading.
Oh, the petrodollar will crash overnight.
Not even the dollar. It's there's gonna be no more credit cards. There's gonna be no more advances.
Yeah. World economy.
All this paper that we use to spend is gonna be worthless.
Toilet paper.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, we're still printing billions of dollars.
We're $16 trillion in debt. We're never gonna get out of that.
Just climbing. When I was a kid, back in the mid '80s, it was like $5 billion.
$5 billion.
And now we're up to 16 trillion. No end in sight. Well, you know what they say what happened in Russia back in the late 80s when their economy collapsed? A guy had 25 grand rubles in the bank, enough to buy a fancy sports car back then, pretty much anyone he wanted. The next day, he still had that money in the bank, but it wouldn't buy a loaf of bread. 25,000 rubles wouldn't buy you a loaf of bread. So if that happened here, people wouldn't know what to do.
It'd be chaos.
Oh yeah, just like Russia. Russia's still recovering 30 years later from the collapse that they had. They're still not one giant country.
So what's the whole thing of like Armageddon and like God is gonna come again? He's gonna rise again.
That's the Book of Revelation.
Yeah.
I think that's their blueprint.
They said
that was added on way after Jesus died and all that kind of stuff.
It's like hell and heaven are gonna clash.
All the stars are gonna fall from the sky, and they say those will be the angels coming down to smite the wicked, and the pit of hell will open up, and the Antichrist will be known. And
who is the Antichrist?
I think they're gonna have a fake alien encounter, and it's gonna be somebody that they send to us to give us the cure for cancer and everything and world peace, and it's going to unite everybody under one religion, scientism. That it doesn't matter what God you believe in, now here's a being from the stars that we can all see with our own eyes. So now you believe in scientism. No matter what religion you were, you also believe this now. So that's how they're going to bring apart the one world religion.
It's just hard to think. It's hard to think, but it's crazy.
Look up, have you ever heard of Project Bluebeam? It's a hologram system that they can shine in the sky anywhere. Yeah, look it up. They've had it forever. China's been showing it to their people for a long time.
It's just, it's crazy. People, I wish that because teachers follow a lesson plan. I wish teachers were allowed to freelance and just express what they actually felt. Teachers can't even say, "Oh, I'm voting for this person."
Yeah, they
can't
can.
even say that.
No, there was a teacher though that I didn't grow up in this school and go to this school, but after I moved out to the country, I had heard about him. After I became a flat earther, he retired the year after I became a flat earther. But he gave a thing out that if you could prove that the Earth was round or spinning, you got an A. Didn't have to turn in homework, didn't have to do a test, nothing. That if you could prove yourself that the Earth was spinning or round, free A. He was a flat earther for sure. Yeah.
Well, it was crazy thing. Like, I'm 21 and I'm a flat earther. It's just I'm a millennial, so it's like my generation, like, we like to observe, we like to we like to question. Questioning is like a huge thing nowadays. Like, why is this? Why is this? When you get to like the baby boomers and the people that are 60, 70 years old, they just this is it and this is what it is. But there's just so much questioning nowadays. There's so many things that, hey, that's not right. Why is this way? Like, oh, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Look this way. Look this way. There's so much straying away from the truth that they want it to be a perfect world. They want it to be that everyone follows this lesson plan and this is how things are taught. But people don't. There's millions of people that just want to break out of that shell. Like, you know what? Like, there has to be something more than this. There has to be.
I used to have a shirt that said, "How can I think outside the box when they won't let me out of it?"
Yeah, exactly. Like, I want to know more. I want to know, like, what's actually going on.
Well, yeah, you figured out that we've been lied to. And they've been telling us this since the beginning. Plato himself. Look up Plato's cave. It's a crazy story about an experiment they used to do on people. But the saying that comes from it is, those able to see beyond the shadows and lies of their culture will never be understood, let alone believed by the masses.
You get laughed at.
Yeah. So they've known this for a very long time, that they don't need 100% of the people. There could be, 8 to 10% of the people that know the truth, and them going out and trying to tell people will get ridiculed.
They just hide so much shit from us. It doesn't even have to be fun. I mean, it's like
everything.
A Secret Service guy came into my high school one time and said, "Hey, I'm going to give us what we do and blah blah blah." I mean, very broad stuff. And some kid, I think he was a flat earther. He said, but it had nothing pertain to it. He asked him a simple question. He's like, "Hey, so how did someone get over the wall of the White House?" He's like, we're not allowed to disclose. We're not allowed to disclose that information. Why?